We as human beings are social creatures. Help Guide says that we thrive off of social interaction as we need it to survive in this crazy world. A key player in our social lives is social media. We use it to post about our day-to-day lives, keep up with friends that we don't get to see all that often, or even live vicariously through influencers. Social media consumes us. Today, I'm going to speak on how social media can negatively impact your mental health. By knowing just some of the ways that social media can negatively impact your mental health, you can begin to recognize it in yourself and make some changes to your usage. As someone who grew up with social media, I can confidently say that it has affected the way that I view myself. Since I recognize that, I have made changes to my usage habits and use it less often. Every once in a while when I do use it, it still affects me though. Some of the major mental health issues that are affected by social media are self-perception, body image, and anxiety or loneliness. So now let's dive in to how these mental health issues are affected by social media. The first mental health issue I'd like to discuss is self-perception. On social media, we are held to such a high standard. We are expected to only share our best sides. Because of this, we often fall into a smiling depression. According to Psych Central, smiling depression is a term used to describe people who are depressed but do not appear to be so. They are literally smiling through the pain. Think about a time recently when you have been feeling down. You probably didn't share how you weren't feeling your best, but instead you might post an old picture or post something small, like your coffee for the day. You're trying to glamorize your life by doing this, and you're not letting people see how you're really feeling. Another issue that is affected by mental health or by social media is body image. While body image is all about self-perception, it heavily influences younger audiences and needs to be discussed about separately. Medical News Today released a study about body image in female undergraduate students. The general consensus was that after viewing more attractive people, the participants' view of themselves was decreased. We've all heard of Photoshop, and I'm sure a few of us have Facetune on our phones. If not, Facetune is an app that works very similarly to Photoshop that allows you to whiten your teeth, smooth out your skin, or even take a few inches off of your waist. We use apps like these to try to make ourselves look more attractive. And in this process, we usually lose a sense of what we look like. The next mental health issue that I would like to discuss is loneliness or anxiety. I group these two together because they are often related to each other. McLean Hospital claims that FOMO, or fear of missing out, is a huge factor in social media. It is a sense of missing out on a personal experience or missing out on an inside joke. We see our friends going out to concerts, out to clubs, or even to a nice dinner without us. Because they're without us, we think that they didn't invite us for something that we did, when realistically, that's not the reason. For example, my friends like to go out without me, and usually I'm home. So I'm sitting at home, just scrolling through stories, watching them have a good time. Because of this, I often think that they didn't tell me they were going out for some reason, but realistically, as I already said before, that was unintentional. It's just a side effect of social media. Additionally, Psychology Today says that increased amounts of screen time are reflective on Psychology Today says that more screen time usage leads to an increased anxiety or depression. Now that I've discussed just a few of the ways that social media has negatively impacted us, I'd like to discuss how social media can have a positive influence on our mental health journey. Catherine Whitmore wrote an article titled "Use of Media and the Promotion of Mental Health." Mental health has become more openly discussed throughout society, thanks to social media. Social media has helped raise awareness by allowing people to share their stories, as well as share different coping mechanisms that they use to get through these tough issues. Mental health awareness is a huge reason that people use social media and cannot be used for the better. So to conclude, self-perception, body image, and loneliness and anxiety are all issues that we can deal with in our day-to-day lives, but social media puts them under a microscope and highlights them. While we know that these issues can affect us, and based off of social media, We can change our usage habits by either using it less often or following more mental health awareness accounts. Thank you. Now I'd like to open up the floor to any questions.
I have a
one.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
What do you have a suggestion for some mental health websites or some applications that would be helpful, especially with the FOMO or fear of missing out?
So some good mental health websites specifically are like gethelp.org, along with other websites that you can usually find on Google. They're all pretty good. And like for Instagram or Facebook specifically, a few of the accounts that I like to follow are called like Self-Care for You and along those lines. They kind of help ground you as a person and realize that you're not there alone, like everyone's experiencing something similar to you. As for FOMO, I just recommend not following like travel influencers because I personally get jealous when I see them and I'm like, I'm not living my best life. But yeah, that's my best advice.
Thank you.
So during COVID and the lockdown, I know I personally deleted my social media because of those issues that you brought up with, people doing all these grand things. Do you think that the lockdown and people being in that isolation bubble, do you think that social media had more of a negative effect, or do you think that it was more positive in a way to bring people together?
I really think that answer could go either way. As for negative effect, I feel like it kind of depends on who you are as a person. For the negative effect, a lot of people were posting old like throwback pictures and just kind of being like, look at my life, look at what I used to do, like I want to get back out there. And people that don't have these experiences and memories to help get them through the isolation that we had to experience during COVID, it definitely negatively impacted them. And as for positive, a lot of people got to see what their friends were doing, and it kind of gave them a sense of community without being with each other. So it could really go either way. All right.
Thank you.
One more question. Anyone? If not, that's fine. All right. Thank you.